Okay, it's your boy Kamal Hart on the chart, and we're going bar by bar once again. We gotta hop right in it today. I'm not gonna have a lot of time. Um, Pre-market, I see the gap. Be looking to fill that at some point. Um, Strong move down. Now we're starting to get a retest on the highs. I see what was kind of like a congestion area here, and we're starting to break out to the high side of that. So let's see if we get a breakout pullback. Here's our first signal, but we're kind of back in the range. So I want to see and wait just a little bit. Um, Really, we should still be waiting. Here's where I took my first trade. If you zoom in, at the time, it was kind of a reversal pattern off these highs. First entry, then it ticked higher, then reverse, second entry. But you see how it closes back inside this bar. So that's our first sign that this trade's going to fail. I had I don't even think I actually moved my take profit to +1. I should have, that's a mistake, but I don't think I did. I just had it set up to play. And once it ticked one tick above my entry, I was out. So it never hit the +1 anyway, so it wouldn't have really mattered. But um, that's how that one played out. So I started my day on a loss on the ES, which is, that's a bummer, whatever. Um, then now we're kind of getting a push higher. And you see like it's kind of like another kind of congestion zone somewhere in there. Really, this was a decent short. First entry, second entry right there. So if I was to go short, I should have waited on this signal. If you back up, you can see that that was right there at the highs of the range and everything. So we break out of the range. It's kind of a first entry back in it. We're gonna wait. Here's a higher low. That's a good trade. Only issue with this one is that we're closed inside of this bar, which closed inside of that bar. But given the context, I'm definitely playing this larger range. And if we really want to take it there, we could possibly see it like an extension from over here. And maybe we move this higher and we get that. Those lines don't look that straight. Let me see if I can get some better lines.
Connection lost.
See how that one goes? That's a good sign. Let me see if I can just get a little bit better line. Something there. I'm just going to go to the highs. It's probably a midline. Somewhere in there. So that'd be our range that we're working with right now. So this is a pretty good buy. I would say it's aggressive just because, like I said, we're kind of going sideways still, but we're at the low, so that's cool. That one plays out really well. I don't think I was even looking at the chart at the time to have caught that move. That's why I didn't take that trade. And there's the pullback, but we're on the wrong side of the range to go long. So I'm just going to have to wait that one out. And then, when I did enter right there, see how it closed kind of back inside this bar? So once it did that, that for sure was my like, I don't really like this trade as much. Um, But we let it play out, and I got I just exited at the highs over here, and then when it pulled back, I was out at break even +1. So just a quick scalp, nothing too major on that. Kind of a dangerous place to go long. At the time, I had the range tighter, more on this high. So that was already kind of like my breakout pullback sort of thing. But using these new lines, you can see how we still are getting like a touch and a reversal off these highs. I think I like this bigger range better. And then we get a breakout right there. Breakout of this range. And then here's the kind of the breakout pullback. It's just a higher low from this low. So I'm not ready to buy this yet. But then once it breaks below, then breaks above, I like that. I like that. And I did enter there. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a good trade to take, but I did take that. Off these highs, I'm probably looking at, let's see, maybe something like this. It's kind of hard to tell at the moment. I'd probably say this is a better, it's gonna be a better line. So I had that, maybe something going up there. And I just held that one. I was trying to see if it would come up to the highs. But then once I got that first break below up here, I just exited that. That was a pretty good trade. The better trade would have been just to wait on, once it broke above right there, I would have for sure entered if I wasn't already in, but I was already in, so I didn't want to add on right there. And see how we're moving up against this line. So really, let's just look for second entry longs, or you know, higher lows. Here we get our breakout. This is a first entry to the high, so we gotta wait for a better setup. And here's your higher low right there. It's an engulfing bar. I don't really like that setup, so I'm still gonna wait. Even though we're expecting it to come test up here and possibly the highs, I just don't like that setup that much. And that would have ticked you out if you would have took that. But here's kind of the re-entry reset trade. This one is a lot better than this one because we're sitting off the EMA. If I was going to take the trade, I'd probably take this one before taking that one. It's kind of stacking up. I think just have to wait and see how that one does. And then right there you get a like a double bottom. This one's okay. It's a failed second entry off this low. First entry, second entry. Once it breaks above, that's going to be a failure. It's also kind of aggressive, but I would be okay going long there. And you don't really get to see it real time, but in real time you see how this bar broke below, then went out the high side. If you're not already in, I would also consider going long right there. But we're for sure going sideways, so it's a little aggressive, but everything we have in terms of the price action has us sitting on top of this EMA. See how everything's sitting on top of the EMA. And we're going to expect, or we're going to be looking for maybe a second leg off this first one. And that gets us a target somewhere up here. So you for sure get your scalp already on these trades. So we're working higher. Now going long, if we're going to use this line, we're going to have the breakout move to a new high. So going long is going to be a little aggressive. What we're going to need to do is see some sort of like another bounce so that I can get another trend line on the chart and use that trend line. But using this, we're kind of done with the longs. There's not too many more entries we can safely take other than second entry longs off the EMA or something. And just like I said, right here, you have this high, it pulls back, that's the first entry, it pulls back again, touches the EMA. Now, once again, it's still going sideways. That's the theme of today. A lot of these setups, they're not perfect, but when I saw that, I was interested in that. That's the second entry we're talking about. And then I would maybe, just from this high to there, it doesn't really fit that well off the lows. Let's see, maybe we get something more like that. I like that a lot better, I think. I like that. So we could use this trend line, and that would get us in there. Not a big fan of creating the second trend line, but if we really, just for the sake of an experiment, let me see. Because if we think about it, we had our range, it broke out, it pulled back, and continued higher. So maybe from down here, if you go to this pullback, right there, that might be the channel that we're looking for. I don't know how this is going to fit off the highs. Yeah, and that fits pretty nicely off the highs. So what I'll do is I'll make that more transparent. Okay, boom. So yeah, this would be the better channel that I'd be using right now. So yeah, long right there. Takes a little bit, but then there you go. You get exactly what you needed for that. See how this trend channel is holding? That's a good sign. And if you're still holding your contracts, got a target up here still. So we're kind of getting this break outside of the channel. It's not yet super convincing, but it's the first break. Right here is a second entry long. First entry, second entry. It's off the EMA. Small bar. Go long there. Man, you would have took some heat. It bounced off the those lows 3 times just about, but it finally shoots off. You would have, you'd have had to been patient waiting through all this. But if you put your stop where the stop goes, it never gets touched, and that trade works out. So now we got that break move to a new high. So once again, it's starting to get risky to go long. We're gonna have to really see a clean setup to justify a long like this right here. This higher low, way too close to the highs. It's not where I want to go long. And then right there, just to back it up, that's the failed second entry short off these lows. First entry fails, second entry fails. You could be aggressive, but you're a tick away from the high. That's not really where I want to enter a trade, and that would have failed. So you see how above the EMA, below the EMA, and then we went lower than the previous swings after a break and a new high. Let's just get a line to see. Not that we want to take shorts yet, But let's just see if this correction plays out with a breakout and retest. Then we'll start to look for longs again. Here's the breakout. And that's kind of like a double top. See how it pulls back off those highs from the double top. When I see this, I think of like a congestion or like a range. So what I would do is I'd put my line on, and then what I want to do is maybe buy down here if it gives me the setup. You can see how prices are respecting the range. And we got a little pullback. See off here, that's just the first entry. And if we get that midline in, you can tell that that's not really where we want. You know, we don't want those trades yet. You can see we're still waiting. Get that breakout, a bearish bar at the highs. It's just the first entry to this low. It's nothing yet. Right there is a interesting trade, just an aggressive short, kind of like a second entry short, and then off to that low, it's kind of a second entry short. Just something that I noticed. That one works, but I don't think I would have taken that. This is the first entry to the high, but you see how it's triggering on our midline. Well, really, the bar closes on our midline. It triggered right there. So this is our signal bar. That's not a good setup yet. Here's a second entry long, but it's kind of the same thing. It's going sideways and it triggers above our midline, making this our signal bar. That's just a trade I have to skip. And you can see how the lows of this range, they seem like they moved a little higher. So I wouldn't be against moving all this over. Moving this over and moving this up. Something like there. And off this low, this is a higher low. Like this is a decent trade. This doji at the bottom of the range. It's not bad. And then once again, small bearish bar at the highs of our range. That would have got you a scalp. I don't know why I'm not taking these shorts. Some of these shorts are okay. Like this one is a second entry short off this low. First entry, pullback, second entry. Let's say it's aggressive. Okay, I got I had a quick interruption, but we're back. We were talking about this one. Just a small doji at the top of the range. I think the reason why, you know, it feels a little sketchy going short up here is just because we've had so much upward movement. But I mean, if you follow the price action, it gets you in and out where you're supposed to be in and out. You can see the EMA is so flat right now that it's definitely a ranging market for the time being. So there's nothing wrong with taking this short. This one isn't as good as a setup because it made a, it's kind of a failed move higher, so that's nice, but it's just a first entry to the lows. At least this one, it's a second entry, first entry, second entry. So that one makes this one a little more valid. Anyway, doesn't last long, and we get a breakout. So let's wait and see if we get that breakout pullback. Here's the pullback, and then see how it continues higher. That's what we want to see. Then let's get a line. Let's get a line going through there. Let's see how this fits on the high side. It's pretty good. Okay, so Let's look for like second entry longs or something. Here, that's the first entry. There's the second entry right there. Uh, it's an okay bar. It's a little aggressive. I don't think I would have been in. Doesn't go far, so no worries. And it resets right there, but that signal bar, that's no good. So we just gotta wait. But you can see you get the breakout, move to a new high. And that one keeps pushing higher. I think at this point, from these lows, I would see. Let's see if this holds anything. Not confirmed yet. We need one more bounce to confirm that. And you can see how it kind of responded off the highs. See right there, we're getting real close to it. Not quite off it yet though. But that's the first entry. There's your second entry, but I'm not really feeling that. It's going too sideways. The signal bars are doji. That's not going to do us any good. And then here's kind of the reset. Look at that double bottom. I like this one more. But it's 3:15, so you know, I'd be done for the day. I wouldn't necessarily risk it. But you see how that's coming right off that trend line? You know, if you lose this trade, you're going to end on a loss, but hopefully you've gained some money on those ones. And that one shoots off, so that was a pretty solid trade. But I'd be done after that one. I wouldn't keep risking it this late in the day. But yeah, that's a wrap. That's what I saw. Pretty much all uphill. One short potentially up here. I'd say that's a little aggressive. And this is a little bit late in the day, but that was a long right there. That's pretty much all there was today. Good movement. If you were patient and waited for the right longs, some really good opportunities. So we're going to get out of here and we'll be back again tomorrow. Until then, peace.